What's up? What's up? It's Pika over here in Singapore, checking in again. All right, so much has happened in the last couple of days. Today was a kind of chill day though. Let's see. Woke up early, did laundry, cleaned the house, and started off on baby girl's hair because I do that once a week. I didn't know anything about braiding hair. Didn't know much about African American hair, much less mixed hair at all. Um, So I taught myself. And thank God for YouTube tutorials, you know how I like those. There is a channel called Mahogany Curls that actually broke it down from the very beginning, from her very first big chop till now. I've been following her like a lot in the first couple of years that I was starting out, but recently it's like it's not as often because I think I've got my own, technique down, so it helps with baby girl's hair. So um, once a week I wash it. Mostly on like a Saturday, I'll take it out and let her scalp breathe a little bit, and then on Sunday, I'll wash it. I try and do it early, as early as possible, not much later than noon if I have to start late, because depending on what the design is, it'll take me 3-4 hours. But it's not so bad because we normally watch movies while we're doing it, and it's a chill day because by the time I start her hair, I've pretty much done everything else that I need to do for the house itself. So then after I do her hair, I can really chill. So I got that done today. I did box braids again. I've been doing box braids a lot lately because I feel like I get a lot more oil into her hair and on her scalp, and it stays better. It doesn't get as fluffy as fast. And I have gotten to a point now where I don't have to use rubber bands in her hair. It actually it holds the curl at the bottom, and it kind of just doesn't undo the braid. So I'm really lucky. Been using oil and also a deep conditioner from Shea Moisture, which I really love. It's the Manuka Honey Black. I'm not sure, but it's by Shea Moisture. It comes in a tub. It's really really nice. It smells pretty good. I've been using the CG method, which is the curly girl method, um, and the line of shampoos that they use are actually by Diva Curl, but I found similar products. So again, it's the Shea Moisture line. There's no silicones, no sulfates, and it really helps clean her hair and keep as much of the moisture in her hair as possible instead of drying it out and then you have to go through a bunch of products to put the moisture back in. So that was my day today. It took me about 4.5 hours to do. And after that, we actually headed out to the temple because every Sunday we go to the temple and we do Navagraha prayers, which is the 9 planets. According to my mom, we're not going through such a great time at the moment. So to pray to the 9 planets, it kind of helps to alleviate some of those feelings of distress for our family. So she's been doing it diligently since she got here every Sunday. When she's home, she does it anyway. But whenever I get a chance to tag along with her, I go because as much as I am Hindu, it's like the blind leading the blind. I do because I've been told to do. I don't understand why yet. I don't know how to do it by myself yet. Mostly because 20 years in the States, you didn't have really a temple, so to speak, to go to and do all of the traditional Hindu prayers. So I'm still learning, but I know I have conversations with the universe a lot. I talk, I voice my opinions, I show that I'm grateful. I do as much as I can to make sure that I'm the right frame of mind to tackle the day and keep going the best way that I know how. So I was thinking a lot while I was doing baby girl's hair today about what do I do next? Like it's slowly kind of setting in. Yes, I lost my job. I don't have a replacement. It wasn't on my terms. I don't know if I can switch it or play this off somehow. But it's starting to sink in a little bit because I still have a week left. Friday will be my last day. But I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be doing in the next week or so. So I guess I'll go into work tomorrow morning and find out, where I can help out. Because if they've stopped me doing curriculum, that's pretty much the only thing I was working on. I'll just have to find out from operations what they need help with before I leave. So I was thinking, I love the space that I'm in right now. Right now, I don't have another plan. Like I don't have another job lined up. I don't have the business set up to the point where I can make money with that only yet. There's a lot of up in the air ideas. So the thing that I do love about this state of mind at the moment is that nothing is pinned down. I haven't been pushed into one track or another. The possibilities are endless right now at this point. But I also know that once I choose something, the possibilities will narrow toward that one thing that I've chosen. So I'm a little excited still about the fact that there's like so much out there. I haven't really settled on one idea for how to get through everything next, but I do know that I make my decisions pretty much the same way every time. When it comes to jobs, I look for skills. If I'm really good at something, I try and look for skills where I'm not so great. Excuse me. I'm actually kind of tired. Okay, so I look for skills or skill sets that I could earn, that I could, buck up on. Entry-level positions, let's say in marketing, because I've never done it before. And that's what I did when I got to Wyndham Worldwide. I actually got to really, really sit with a marketing director and learn from her directly and, get some skin in the game that way. When it came to sales, by the time my director left and there was another director on board, I had become the go-to person for all of our in-house marketing events. And that's when I really got to get close to the sales department and really work with them on how to bring owners in, get owners to bring referrals in, and then sell them on either upgrading their package that they already have or buy a brand new package if they were a referral. So I got a lot of first-hand experience for the sales part because I was already in that basic workspace. When I got to Lumber Liquidators, I love data entry, and as simple as it seems, there's a lot more to it. So from that perspective, I gained another skill. I didn't know anything about SAP until I went to Lumber Liquidators. I didn't know anything about production lines and shipping and handling and freight forwarding, stuff like that. I didn't know anything about that, but the fact that I was able to go in there and pick up that skill as well, I'm very, very grateful for. When I came to Singapore, the first job I ever had was working for Taste of Tradition, which is a smaller company, but they handle wine and a process that they've developed, which is cool chain, which means from the time they pick out the wine in France or Italy, wherever they're buying it from, the wine stays cold until it gets to you. So there's no point in time where it's sitting in a crate on a container on a ship somewhere and it's like getting warm, if that makes sense. So it keeps the wine a little more fresh, and it's like one of those guarantees that they had. So I didn't know anything about that stuff, and I didn't know anything about wine. I wasn't a big fan of wine. I was never a big fan of beer. I'm not a big fan of wine. Didn't drink that much champagne. Unfortunately for me, it was always liquor. So I've kind of grown out of that phase too now. But yeah, I got to learn about wine. I got to do a little more event planning. I am very, very grateful for the fact that I had the opportunity to do a major champagne launch. For those of you who've ever heard of Charles Heidsieck, it was a very, very old-fashioned brand that had kind of dwindled away. No one really talked about it, and we got to relaunch it and become the only people who were distributing Charles Heidsieck champagne in Singapore. So that was pretty amazing. It was the biggest event I've ever done. We made it to Singapore Tatler. The Tatler was the top 300 wealthiest people in Singapore were at that party. It was amazing. It was mind-blowing. It's like nothing I've ever handled before. And I've done a lot of event planning, as you know, with the marketing events in the States. So with every job, basically, I looked for a new skill set. In Grand Hyatt, I was there for 2 years. Now, I'd always done the marketing side of it. I've always done the sales side of it. I've done the contracts. I've done the food and beverage. I had never touched operations. So I got to pick up that side of it, working at the front desk, dealing with VIP guests, dealing with royalty who would come in and stay with us. I had the distinct honor of dealing with princesses, kings, actresses. It's amazing. I got to rub shoulders with some of the greatest people that I never thought I'd ever be able to talk to these people. These people are really, really well-to-do, very smart, witty business people. I've had the pleasure of being able to talk to some of them, actually, get their advice on stuff. Like, if you could imagine, having someone as big as, I don't know, okay, Gary Vaynerchuk. If I ever had a chance to pick his brain, I think I would probably die the next moment. But to be able to service a person like that in a hotel while they're staying at the hotel, just to have like simple conversation, like even like, good morning, how are you, and then see where the conversation leads. That is amazing to me. I've had so many conversations with people while they stayed at the hotel that it's just, I am blessed. I am very, very lucky that way. But like I said, I picked up the operations side of hotel management because I'd never seen that side before. So there were a lot more things that I needed to take care of, and a lot of moving parts within the hotel as far as rooms were concerned, housekeeping, engineering, the grand club, events, sales, all of these people, and it was just something I've never done before. So I'm very lucky that every time I get to be in a place where I pick up another skill that I've never had before. So when I finally came to IQ Kids, this is the first time I've actually been able to get into the education space. And while, I've done trainings and stuff before, in the corporate world, but I've never actually been able to teach children, which is something that I love doing on my own. I homeschool my daughter until this year. She turned 6 in June, and I actually stopped homeschooling her in April. I do the occasional, projects with her on the side at home, but she finally entered a school-type environment with the daycare that's run by the YMCA here in Singapore. So I got to do the curriculum piece here in Singapore with IQ Kids. I got to really see what it takes to manage a classroom and understand what the school systems kind of look like here in Singapore. A lot of times you don't have segregated classes, you have mixed age groups within the classes. So if you were to teach science for, let's say, 5-year-olds, but one center out of 100 has a class of 5-year-olds with some 4-year-olds sprinkled in, you need to be very careful how you manage the class, because the 4-year-olds, if it's too high flown, will not be able to catch up and they will disrupt your class. And if it's too easy, the 5-year-olds will get bored and disrupt your class. So it's a lot of other things I need to talk about, think about, learn about. I love the idea of STEAM. I love the idea of integrating all of the subjects together, because at that young age they can't really separate one from the other. It's too high flown if you don't include art, if you don't include some drama, if you don't include some engineering and some experiments and stuff like that. So with all of that being said, I feel like everything in my life so far has led me up to this moment, and now I need to figure out what my next move is so I can pick up another skill that will help me along my journey. So right now, I was working over 45 hours a week with IQ Kids at a pretty decent salary, but it basically equates to about $20 an hour, which is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. But what I found out is there is another opportunity out here, because education is a big thing in Singapore. It's like a cash cow here in Singapore to be in the education industry. Either you're doing preschool, or you're doing tuition, or you're somewhere in the education field, because it's like the biggest business there is. I find that a lot of parents are very, very happy to throw their kids in, school at 7 o'clock in the morning and then not see them again until 7 o'clock at night. So if you can imagine, someone's getting money to take care of your kid while you're out doing God knows what. So, most of the parents have, work to do. They punch a clock somewhere, but I feel like you don't see your kid. You don't actually get to be with your kid or spend time with them. Before you know it, they'll be grown and gone, and then you'd be like, well, damn, I don't remember anything. I didn't do anything. So I don't want that to be me. But what I found is, like I said, education being a cash cow in Singapore, if I play my cards right, if I can get a job teaching tuition, I could make between $40 and $50 an hour and truncate the amount of time that I actually spend working. So for right now, I make $3,500 a month, okay? But it's over 45 hours a week for 4 weeks. If I were to make $40 to $50 an hour, from my estimation, I would have to teach about 4 or 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay, at the most, it would be 25 hours a week. But I would make more than I'm making right now. So right now, the strategy is, let me get into that space if I can. And when I do, I will have more time freed up to be with my kid, to put back more time into my own business, and still live a pretty decent life without having to cut back on anything really. So that is the plan at the moment. And I feel like firsthand experience teaching in a classroom. I mean, I already teach right now, but it's once a week. If I were to teach 4 classes a day every week, I think it would hone my skills as far as classroom management. It would give me reinforcing situations about how to deal with people, because kids, by the time they're 5, their personality is set. They're not going to change for the most part. And even if they do change, a lot of times extreme situations will make them revert back to their original state of mind anyway, their original personality type anyway. So I feel like this would be the next great opportunity for me to help myself along in my own journey by learning another skill, as I've mentioned. So for those of you in a space where you think that, you're not sure what to do next, think about that. What skill do you need next for your ultimate goal? If you keep your goals in mind every time, like the big picture, right? What do you want to do? If you do small things towards that every day, you get closer to your goal, correct? So for me, I just left the Grand Hyatt in February of this year. Middle of August will make almost 6 months that I've been with IQ Kids, and I think like I'm ready for the next phase. So I feel like from doing the curriculum side of it on the back end, I need to learn more about the people themselves and remind myself of the different personality types that are out there, who I would be dealing with, how to reach them best, because there is more emphasis on various teaching methods and how different kids learn than there is when you get to corporate America and training. So if I can hone those skills right now, I think I could be of better service to you as the general public. So my next step is related to my next skill set. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get a couple answers. I am still waiting on a call back from one person that I called regarding a job, and they were out of town until Monday anyway. So we'll see how that goes. I'm actually really excited. And I will check back in tomorrow, okay? Keep your head up. Don't fret. If anything seems like it's going really, really fast, the best thing actually to do is slow down. Stop. Don't do anything. Sleep on it one time and see how you feel about it in the morning. So right now, this is the plan. I am going to look for my next skill set that I want to hone. And yeah, I have no doubt that whatever comes next will actually help me towards my goals anyway, because my goals are not going to change. I will adjust my journey along the way, but I will not change my goal. My goal is to work for myself. My goal is to share what I know with all of you the best way that I know how, so that you can get your act together and get your dreams settled as well. I really didn't think I was in a place where I could start a brand new dream. I thought, I'm in my 30s, how can I start now? But I see people out there who are 40, 50 years old starting over. So why can't I start now? You are never too old to dream a new dream. Okay? So keep your head up. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, if you feel overwhelmed, stop. Slow down. And look at it on in the broad view and see what it is that you need to concentrate on first. So today was a chill day, like I said. I've been listening to, dialogue on the TV about, whatever movies we'll watch. We watched Gifted today. We watched The Age of Adeline today. Both really great movies, and they had different viewpoints about the human psyche. So I'm really, really grateful. So right now, with all of that stuff in mind, I am ready to take that next step. And that next step is looking for the next skill I need to really hone in on. All right? All right, y'all. I think I better hit the sack. I will catch you tomorrow, Monday. Brand new week, brand new goals, lots to do. All right? Get some rest, you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.